Thank you. Mr. Mast.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's just start with the title of this hearing. I don't know what snide staffer put the title on it, but it says Betrayal of Our Syrian Kurdish Partners. And I think it requires a little bit of self-reflection because we all have our lanes. Military has their lane, state has their lane, Foreign Affairs Committee in the House of Representatives has their lane. So let's talk about that word betrayal and say, in my opinion, betrayal is to our service members, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, who, what do? They volunteer heroically to stand in front of all threats to our nation and anybody in our nation, as my colleague Adam spoke about so eloquently earlier. But in my opinion, the betrayal is that they are not told the totality of their mission. When was the last time that our service members were given the totality of their mission? The betrayal is to send our troops off with marching orders, but with no final destination for those marching orders, or to give them a mission that never reaches mission accomplished. So I'll ask this question rhetorically, but more specifically in a little bit, when was the last time that this body authorized or authored an AUMF? That is the lane, that is one of the lanes of this committee. When's the last time we did this? I'm not talking about what goes on in the NDAA and going out there and talking about, different things that we might do through DOT. When's the last time this body went out there and undertook those actions? When has this body, speaking about support for the Kurds, expressed its sense of support for an independent Kurdish state? If that's something you support, something that I wholeheartedly support, that I would love to see. When was the last time that this body or your staffs went to work to actually write an AUMF, even though it may not have gone through? When were the last times these things occurred? When did this body author the left and right limits to what our engagement should be in Syria? When did that occur? When did we go out there and do this? And so since the withdrawal, or even prior to the announcement of this withdrawal, who here has gone out there and proposed some sort of AUMF for any action against Turkey if our troops come in conflict, should one of our soldiers be attacked by somebody from Turkey? Yeah. When did that occur? In this body, in our lane, outlining that authority, not, as I said, not just to provide assistance or to counter ISIS. When did that occur? So my point here in all of this is this. If you want to support continued action in Syria, absolutely go out there and make your case for what it is that you want to see. But task your staffs, use your own efforts to go out there and author those left and right limits. Give them their marching orders. Let them know where we reach mission accomplished. Author those things, take the time to do what is absolutely in our lane as members of the Foreign Affairs Committee. So if you don't want to betray our service members, who we should have no greater commitment to, then have the stones to specifically outline when we reach mission accomplished. And if you're worried about the signals that might be sent, then send a clear signal from Congress about exactly what it is that we authorize against Turkey and Erdogan, or against Assad, not just through state, but specifically militarily. And so my one question that I have is this, it is not to any of you, Mr. Chairman, will this body, as some people have expressed support for doing, it hasn't occurred on either side of the aisle, this knife cuts both ways, will this body work toward an AUMF?
Mr. Mast, I think that Congress, frankly, has been negligent in its time for several years under administrations, both Democratic and Republican. I think it's the AUMF, which is now being used as a catch-all to basically give any administration any power that they want to do anything they want militarily, is something that needs to go by the wayside. And I would hope that the Congress, it wasn't done when Republicans were in the majority, and it hasn't been done since Democrats were in the majority, because quite frankly, you know as well as I do, it's very difficult to get consensus to find that middle that everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to reclaim and just ask it again. I do want to give you time to answer. I respect you. Will we in this committee work to authorize, work toward an AUMF. I agree with you. That knife cuts both
Mr.
ways,
Mast, if you would-
Republicans and Democrats.
If you would like to work with us on an AUMF, I'd be delighted to work with you.
100%, sir.
Okay.